Greetings to all lovers of myths and legends. Today we will dive into the epic story of the great battle between Thor and the giants. Prepare for thrilling battles, incredible feats, and unprecedented adventures. Immerse yourself in the world of Norse mythology with us. In Norse mythology, Thor, the god of thunder and lightning, is one of the most well-known and revered gods. The son of Odin and Jord, he protects Asgard and Midgard from monsters, giants, and other threats. One of the most famous and thrilling stories about Thor is his battle with the giants. This legend is full of vivid characters, epic battles, and symbolism reflecting the eternal struggle between order and chaos. In Norse mythology, giants were ancient beings embodying the forces of nature and chaos. They lived in Jotunheim, one of the 9 worlds, and were at odds with the gods of Asgard. The great giants were not only physically powerful, but often possessed magical abilities as well. One of Thor's main enemies was the giant Hrungnir, known for his incredible strength and indomitable temper. Once consumed by arrogance, Hrungnir dared to challenge the gods of Asgard themselves. He appeared at their table, declaring that he was stronger than all the gods and that Asgard should submit to his will. Thor, upon learning of Hrungnir's audacity, immediately challenged him to a duel. Confident in his victory, Hrungnir agreed. The giant proposed to meet on a field located between Asgard and Jotunheim to prove his strength. On the day of the duel, Thor arrived with Mjolnir, while Hrungnir came with a massive stone shield and a flint hammer. The battle began with fierce blows that made the ground tremble and stones fly. Thor threw Mjolnir, which struck Hrungnir with a thunderous crash, shattering his shield and splitting his hammer. However, Hrungnir was not the only giant Thor had to defeat. The great giants, witnessing the fall of their leader, decided to attack Asgard. They gathered a massive army and marched towards the realm of the gods. Thor, without a moment's hesitation, along with his brother Loki and other warriors of Asgard, marched to meet the giants' army. The battle was fierce and prolonged. Thor darted across the battlefield, striking down enemies with his hammer like lightning, destroying dozens of giants with each blow. Loki, using his cunning and magic, assisted Thor by distracting and confusing the enemies. One of Thor's most dangerous opponents was the giant Thrym, who had previously stolen the hammer Mjolnir and hidden it in his castle in Jotunheim. Thrym demanded the hand of the goddess Freya in exchange for the hammer. Thor and Loki devised a cunning plan. Thor, disguised in a bridal gown, accompanied by Loki, went to Thrym. At the wedding feast, Thor finally managed to reclaim Mjolnir. He lifted the hammer and brought it down on Thrym, destroying the giant, and all his allies gathered for the celebration. This story became one of Thor's most famous exploits, showcasing his skill not only in battle, but also in cunning. After the destruction of Thrym and his army, Thor and Loki returned to Asgard as heroes. The gods and people honored them for their bravery and strength. The battle with the giants reinforced Thor's position as the primary defender of Asgard and Midgard. However, this victory also reminded the gods that the threats from Jotunheim would never completely disappear. Thor and his companions reach the castle of Utgard Loki, where they are greeted by the king of the giants himself. Utgard Loki challenges Thor and his friends to participate in a series of trials. Loki is the first to compete in an eating contest, but loses to the giant Logi, who embodies fire. Then Thjalfi competes in a race against the giant Hugi, who turns out to embody thought and moves with incredible speed. Thjalfi also suffers defeat. Thor takes on 3 challenges. In the first, he must lift a cat, but despite all his efforts, he can only lift 1 paw. In the second challenge, he must drink from a horn, but cannot empty it completely. In the third challenge, Thor must wrestle an old woman named Ellie, who embodies old age. He fights with all his might, but cannot defeat her. Utgard Loki, seeing Thor's disappointment, reveals the truth to him. All the challenges were illusions. The cat was actually the serpent Jormungandr, the horn was connected to the ocean, and Ellie was old age itself, which no one can defeat. Utgard Loki acknowledges the strength and bravery of Thor and his companions, but tells them they must leave his castle. An enraged Thor decides to take revenge on the giant and prepares for battle. He leaves Utgard, promising to return and destroy the giants. Thor returns to Asgard to gather an army of gods and prepare for the great battle. Thor turns to Odin for help. Odin agrees, and the gods of Asgard begin preparing for battle. The divine forces include not only Thor and Loki, but also Freyr with his magical sword, Tyr, the god of war, and Sif, Thor's wife, who is also a powerful warrior. The gods gather on the battlefield, where Thor gives final instructions to his troops. He raises Mjolnir and vows to defeat the giants and protect Asgard from their threat. The forces of Asgard march to Jotunheim, ready for battle. On a vast field surrounded by mountains, the armies of Asgard and Jotunheim meet. Thor, leading his army, challenges the giants. Hrungnir, armed with a massive stone shield and hammer, is the first to confront him. Forces from both sides clash with incredible power. Thor and Hrungnir fight face to face, their blows shaking the ground and causing lightning to flash. Thor uses Mjolnir to shatter Hrungnir's shield and ultimately destroy him. However, the giants do not retreat. The giant army, led by Utgard Loki, charges into battle. Loki, using his magic and cunning, confuses the giants by creating illusions and distracting them. Freyr fights the giant Bali, using his magical sword that fights on its own. Tyr, who lost his hand in a battle with the wolf Fenrir, fights with fury and courage, inspiring his allies. Sif, with her golden hair shining in the sunlight, leads the Asgardian warriors into the attack. The legend of Thor's battle with the giants is a vivid example of heroism, courage, and strength embodied by Thor. This story reminds us of the importance of protecting our loved ones and homeland from any threats. Thor, with his hammer Mjolnir and unyielding will, remains a symbol of strength and justice, ready to fight any enemy to protect his world. Let this legend inspire you to great deeds and remind you that even the most powerful enemies can be defeated if you fight with determination and faith in victory. Thank you for watching, and see you again in the world of myths and legends.